Hey, I'm Kev Care, Mr. Cone. Welcome to a vlog. As this time next week, I'll be in the Philippines in May once again for I think this is the 4th year in a row now. But unfortunately, just like 2013, very unexpected circumstances. If you've been with this channel this long and you can remember that far back, in 2013 it was because a family member died, and that unfortunately was my grandfather. And not yesterday, but the previous Monday, unfortunately, my grandmother passed away. So we got to rush over there, be with our family at this time, and we're going to leave next Monday and be over there for a few weeks, and then be back in the middle of May. But a bit like my grandfather, how in that vlog from 3 years ago now, I talked about how in 2012 when we were over there, we kind of knew it was going to be the final time I would see him. Well, we went over the Philippines, last year, kind of knew it was the final time to see my grandmother. Now for the past decade she's been, quite ill, unfortunately, quite bedridden in recent years, and even though she was like fighting though, and always believed that she would just, live on for quite a long time now, she was just, surviving, and, that's why it's probably why it hasn't sunk in yet. It really is a shock to see her, pass away at this time. Like, I've been hearing that, she was improving, the weeks before, she had sadly passed away, and so, yeah, it's just a bit of a shock. It hasn't really sunk in, probably when I get over, it'll probably, sink in, when I walk into the family home and, she's not there with her carer, it'd just be, very strange. But, yeah, the relationship with grandma was kind of different compared to my grandfather. My grandfather was like in the Filipino army, he travelled the world, he has these fantastic tales, he had really good English, and so he'd tell me these, especially growing up, it was just fantastic always hearing these, kind of gallivanting he did during his years there. But my grandmother unfortunately could only speak very little English. I can speak very little Filipino, and so we couldn't communicate in that way. It's more like body language, really, and that's in the best tale of that connection is back, not last year, because I think we arrived in the Philippines when it was my birthday, but the year before we could actually celebrate my birthday over there, and unfortunately that's the only time I celebrated with my grandma. And I remember I was eating, she was on my right, and she was just staring at me, and I was like, very awkward, because I'm not used to female attention, but it's just very awkward eating. And occasionally I look over, it's like, okay, she's just there, we'll just eat. And then occasionally I'll just smile over and she'd like smile back. She has like this fantastic smile, and I guess I didn't realise at the time is that she was kind of just savouring it, not just inspecting what this beast is of her grandson, but or what I am, but or what this is. But she was just savouring it. She was celebrating a special occasion, with her family. I had turned old, and so, and unfortunately, as I said, that turned out to be the only time we'd celebrate, my birthday with my grandma, and I didn't really appreciate it back then, but, now I do. Unfortunately, it's a bit too late, but, now I do kind of savour that, not to, express it to her. Unfortunately, it's too late, but, now I do, and I remember that kind of moment. It's like, it's like with the beach trip in 2012, perhaps my favourite time I've ever been over there. We went to the beach and fantastic time. I can't swim, but my cousins were there just in case I did go under the water. So they basically just helped me, just paddle around in the shallow end of the ocean. And my grandma kind of swam for the first time in years. It's fantastic to see going around. My grandfather got into the ocean. He kind of went in and emerged out of it like Jesus. He kind of just went, kind of submerged himself and just walked out. It's quite a striking image. But I remember that's the happiest I remember seeing all of us, really. In the time I've been over in the past 5 years, and seeing her with like her sunglasses on at the top of the beach, was kind of combed like this, and kind of combed like this, and at the top of the hill, she was kind of sitting in her chair with the sunglasses on, looking like the boss of the family. It was really quite a cool image. But yeah, there's a kind of memories I remember of her. But yeah, Now, unfortunately, we got to say goodbye to her this time next week. So yeah, that's why it's going to be very quiet on this channel for the next couple of weeks, and for the first half of May, probably for the whole of May. Once I get back, we're going to be jet lagged. It's going to take a few weeks to get back into the swing of things. But for the rest of this week, I've got the Alabama review of IndyCar and the Mazda Road to Indy. Lots to cover. Some of the Mazda Road to Indy races were crazy, like USF 2000, Indy Lights as on the restarts and starts. Mental, just like we saw in IndyCar. So I've got that to cover. That's probably going to come out at the end of this week. I probably can't get an Indy GP preview out in time. I try to, but I'm very slow at making these things. If you haven't noticed with the Power Steers this year, because I've got less time to make them, and I'm trying to script them out because I've got less time to record them in. So yeah, it's just a very slow process as I get used to writing them out and get used to covering the races weekly, just like I did back in 2013. So yeah, I've got to get back in the swing of things. Hopefully I get back into that over the summer, so it's a bit more regular, not just every Friday you'll see a preview and review. It'll be like Wednesday will be the review coming out, and the preview will be coming out that Wednesday as well. That's the day I'm aiming for, every week at least, for previews and reviews. But yeah, I've got that to cover for us this week. Maybe some gameplay as I did finish yesterday with my friend the Forza Horizon 2 Playground Games playlist, so that's probably going to be going up while I'm away for the next 3 weeks, so you can enjoy that. Maybe some MotoGP 15 as I'm finally getting through kind of the real events, and so I'm trying to complete that game before Valentino Rossi the game comes out in June, at the end of June. I can't wait for that game. That looks really good from the previews. It's basically all of Milestone's stuff they've done over the years in one game. It's going to be really interesting to see how that works out. But I did hope to bring you some sim gameplay, and that's why I've got my real next here. I've got it hooked up. I got this, I think it was last week even, the week before. Tried it out for the first time yesterday, and all of the buttons on the wheel have stopped working within an hour or two, so I'm working with Thrustmaster to fix that. So hopefully, I can, if that gets fixed during the week, I can bring you some sim gameplay while I'm away during May as well. I've got the pedals working, so at least I've got pedals. I'm still working on the wheel, and this is Thrustmaster TX, and it's the first wheel I've owned since my G25 broke at the kind of end of last year, and the first time I actually drove on Monday or yesterday a sim wheel in like 8 months. I was a bit rusty before the wheel broke, so now hopefully that gets fixed, and then I can bring you sim gameplay as well while I'm away. But yeah, that's the end of this. So yeah, that's why it's going to be very quiet on the channel for next month. So sign out for watching, and I will see you next time.